It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, and good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Due Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you last week? Last week, it was all over the place. We had a good time over here on this Due Time with Pastor Steph. I want to start with our switch tip. Stop trying to build without Jesus. That really was the theme for the whole week. We got that switch tip nice and early during the week. And boy, did we need that advice for during the week. All week long, no matter what we talked about, was building on shaky ground. And all the stories we talked about was really indication that if we do not build properly, then there is no way God is going to be glorified. Because when we try to build without Jesus, when we try to do things without Jesus, when we think that Jesus does not have to be in the equation, we are in trouble. So stop trying to build without Jesus. Really took on, a magnified view last week. We talked to our girl Vivian with her socially conscious segment, and we talked about the 10 commandments now being placed federally in Texas. Now, I don't know if you remember, but last year we went through this whole back and forth with it was the 10 commandments were going to be allowed and the 10 commandments were not going to be allowed. And again, on shaky ground. See, this world is trying to really work its way without God. And I'm so glad that the federal government has voted that at least in Texas, it would be allowed, because prayerfully, all it needs is to start in one place. Things are infectious. Things start to spread. So once we have it in one place, and somebody else sees that, oh yeah, wait a minute, I want that too, then we'll start seeing the 10 commandments hung up in schools all over the place. And coming off of, just last week where we talked about the 8 children that were killed in their sleep, talking about the young girl who was abducted and raped on her way home from school. We talked about little Jaden Pierre, 15 years old, who was just brutalized and murdered right there in the park where he was, known to frequent, just being a kid, just going for supposedly a water balloon fight. And there's a war on our children. And that's why it's so important that the commandments are in the schools, because if we start embedding the commandments in the minds and the hearts of our children, then we'll begin to teach them a little something. We'll begin to teach them something about prayer. We'll begin to teach them something about how to treat one another. Because if you think about it, part of the commandments are, it starts off with how we treat God. And then it takes a little turn as to how we treat one another. So if we teach our children from young how to treat one another, then already we got to jump on the game. We have been told to train up the child in the way he should go. So putting the commandments in the school is the way he should go, because remember, if it's there and they have to repeat it or they're constantly reading it, it gets embedded in their minds. So right now, that needs to be the goal. What are we doing with our children? Because leaving it up to the adults is really not something that we can really rely on. We're going to have to teach our children how to pray for themselves because they're being preyed upon. Preyed. We really have to teach them to keep those senses and those antennas up. You know, there's nothing, sometimes you get caught off guard, even as adults, and there's nothing you can do about it. But if we can teach our children to pay attention, to be on alert, to stay on guard, then we'll have less to worry about. Okay? Well, last night we were on for a segment of Let's Talk About Resilient Living, along with our Word Prayer Project. And we talked about being stretched. Oh my goodness gracious. As adults, we war against God stretching us, against God, preparing us for higher heights. There's no reason why God wants to stretch you if there's nothing for you. Oh, did I just say that? Oh my goodness. As Pastor KL would say, that's good. That's good. That's good right there. There's no reason why God would need to stretch us if there were no plans for our life and if he wasn't taking us to higher heights. There's no way in the world that we need to be resisting. There's no way in the world we need to be fighting God. Why are we fighting God for what he wants to do for us? What sense does that make? Somebody help me, because that does not make any sense whatsoever. So when God is trying to stretch you, say thank you. Say thank you, God. I know this is a little uncomfortable. I know that let's be frank. We don't even deserve the stretching. If God really dealt with us according to our iniquities, we haven't proven that we are worthy of being elevated. That's by the mercy and grace of God that we are elevated. So now he's trying to elevate me, and now I'm trying to resist. I'm pulling away. I'm fussing and fighting because I can't deal with the little uncomfortability. Oh no. So go back and listen to last night's episode of Let's Talk About Resilient Living and the Word Prayer Project. You just might learn something. And if we touch and agree, we'll be able to push God's kingdom into a new way of thinking, a new way of living. All right? All right. Well, today we are shaking the Monday morning blues all over again. And this is the last Monday in April. Yo, time is flying by. We just came into 2026 and already we're going out of the month of April. So let's get this party started. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's due time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
Who needs to hear this, but today is a fresh start. You do not need to carry the weight from yesterday into today. Breathe, reset, refocus, and remember who you are. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Now today you can make the choice to push yourself forward or hold yourself back some more. But I want to encourage you to have a great day today. Go for it, push forward, and don't let the weight of yesterday, last week, last weekend, last month continue to have such a hold on you. Today you can make the choice to do better, get better, and evolve.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And we are shaking the Monday morning blues. I want to put a stamp on that PSA, but I want to say that, it's nice to believe that we are where we're supposed to be, but not necessarily. Make sure you are praying and asking God if you are where you're supposed to be. Okay. Other than that, I'm loving that PSA, but I want to just make sure that we don't get settled in to what we believe is the right thing. We want to make sure we're always consulting with God to ensure we are where we're supposed to be. Because we just got finished talking about last night about the stretching. And a lot of times we're resisting the stretching. So therefore, there's no way in the world we're supposed to be. We are where we're supposed to be if we're resisting the stretching. All right. So let's just make sure. Other than that, I love what she said. Leave yesterday behind. Listen, we got to move forward. Give God thanks for what He has done for our lives today. Remember, brand new mercies every single time we wake up. Leave that behind us and come on, fight. Keep on fighting and press toward the perfect mark of Jesus Christ. All right? All right. Well, listen, you know what time it is. It's say good morning time to everybody in the room. If you're in the room, please make sure you say hello to Pastor Steph. Other than that, I don't know you're in the room. So let's say good morning to Your Highness. Good morning, Terrence. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got a check-in from our girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. Thank you so much for checking in and hanging out with us today. We got a check-in from our lady, Tamika. Good morning, Tamika. Thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait till you're on this side of the fence. And we got a check-in from Miss Grace. Hey, Miss Grace. Good morning. How are you? So wonderful to see you. Hope you're doing well, and we pray you have a blessed day. Wow, you know what time it is on a Monday morning after we say good morning. We got our health tips. And, today is not so much of a healthy thing necessarily, but we're coming across a nice little topic this morning. And they say that these particular things are disappearing because millennials won't use them anymore. They won't pay for these things anymore. And remember now, if the millennials are not paying for them and they're not using them, then our Z's and our alphas, we can really forget when it's their turn to now make the difference. They're going to be saying bye-bye and we're going to be saying gone. I don't know what's on this list, but let's find out. All right. They say cereal has become an inconvenience. Remember years ago we used to eat cereal, y'all, and watch the cartoons or read the back of the box? They not doing that no more. They say that 40% of millennials said that the sweet and crunchy morning option was an inconvenient breakfast choice because they had to clean up after eating it. Yo, really? I tell you, I'm already scared of this list. No more I do's and kissing the bride. They say that nope, they're not doing that anymore because they're not finding the right people. No more wedding bells, throwing the bouquets until they find that person that they want to settle down with. And most times they are just opting to shack up. Yeah, unfortunately. All right. They say, yes, we'll keep the reclining chairs and the surround sound. Well, that's because the movie theaters have become real extinct right about now. We went to the movies Saturday night, and we had to kind of really go out the neighborhood to get to a movie theater. So, with the streaming services now, yeah, keep the big chairs, the surround sound, because that's what they are really, really going for. All right. Gas. They're really not buying gas much anymore. They say that the car industry is really suffering because most people are doing the share rides and all kinds of things. Uh, Public transportation, they're kind of opting for because nobody wants to spend all that money on a car anymore. Yeah, that's really not as great as it used to be. So, that's interesting. All righty. Bars of soap. Yeah, they say that millennials 18 to 24, also, those people, including the millennials, they are opting for body wash. Yeah, so no more bars of soap. They're doing the body wash thing. So that's becoming extinct as well. Oh, they say gym membership. They're not paying for gym memberships anymore. They say that as far as they see, that the gym memberships are sliding backwards and they may no longer be around in the near future. All right. Fabric softener. They say that when they take a poll, that young people aren't finding fabric softener, then, there's a need for it. And, it's funny because I don't think my daughter uses fabric softener. Yeah, they use just the dryer sheets. Yeah. So I got to have my fabric softener. Yes, I'm straight old school. I got to have my fabric softener either. I'm not happy. I need that in my life. The lonely seas. Wow. Younger people are not really going for the cruises. Yeah. It's more the older people are going for the cruises. Now, we do see there are some millennials going for the cruise ships, but they say not like it was at one point. Okay. All right. They're talking about beer. Nope. They say that beer is not the big thing anymore. They say that it's become much less popular. That's the way they term it. Much less popular. And that's becoming real old school. Yeah. All right. Nobody is doing the cable anymore. They really have relied on streaming. So with Hulu and Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, yeah, they're eating up and snatching up cable. Plus, cable is overpriced anyway. So yeah, what's the big deal? All of the networks have their own what do you call it? Sites and apps now. So there's no real reason, to have their cable. All right. To go. Yeah. They're saying with Grubhub, Uber Eats, and things like that, they are really not seeing a whole lot of people out at restaurants anymore. So the restaurant industry is really taking a hit. They're hoping that the restaurant industry picks up. I told somebody recently, I don't have no desire to own a restaurant. It's too risky. It's too risky. People want to eat out. They don't want to eat out. They want to eat out. They don't want to eat out. No. All right. Diamonds. Yeah. They say things like diamonds are really not being purchased like they used to. Remember, people used to have chains, earrings, bracelets, and yeah, they're not doing that much anymore. And it really has lost a lot of flavor in the millennial and the Gen Z world. All righty. Let's see what else they're talking about. They're saying millennials did the math when it comes to winning the lottery, and they know the odds aren't in their favor. 61% of people age 50 to 64 played the lottery at one point, and now they're saying that people are looking to get rich in other ways now because they're not relying on the lotteries anymore. Napkins. They're not using napkins. Wow. Yep, they said that ain't nobody sitting at the table necessarily using a napkin. The napkin industry is losing money because people aren't buying napkins the way they used to, especially the millennials. Wow. All right. They're saying the drive-throughs. Wow. They say that one of the biggest reasons why younger folk are yearning for healthier options is because they are wanting to live longer. Yeah. And they're going plant-based. So a lot of drive-throughs don't have plant-based food. Remember, they're drive-throughs. All right. People ain't going to the stores no more. Shopping online is what they're doing. So stores are becoming real extinct. They say department stores are closing really fast and opting for online shopping. That's a whole lot money. Let me tell you something. I worked in the accounting department for 2 decades almost. A lot of money goes to rent and salaries. So if they opt to close the doors and go online, there goes the rent and the salaries. Yes. So I'm not surprised. All right. Suits, dress up, tuxedos. Yes, that suit. They're saying nope. People are going for t-shirts and dress down. Yeah, they're trying to make the dress down the dress up. So, yeah, they're really losing a lot of money on, those high-end stores. They're not surviving anymore because people are not, wearing those kind of clothing anymore. Let's see what else they got on here. Oh, jeez. I don't know. Of course, this would be acting up. Let's see if we can, I don't know. Y'all are pretty silent in the room now. What are you not buying anymore? They're talking about millennials, but it's not just the millennials that have stopped buying. No. All of us have really stopped spending their money. One of the things that I have started buying, those reusable towels. Yeah, I'm not a paper towel person, but I do understand that we got to use paper towels because sometimes, when you wipe down, that's only one use, and you'll stay at the laundromat. But you got to think about it. It's you spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on paper towels in this house, even after I done bought all of the reusable towels. All right. Irons. People, they shake it out and keep it moving. Yes, and yes. It's so hard to find a good iron these days because there are certain things that really need to be pressed. And you can't find an iron that's going to last. They last all of 5 minutes, or they burn your clothes up and you end up having to throw it away. So they're saying irons have become extinct. The doorbell. It was like people going for the Ring because the Ring serves as a dual purpose. It has an eye and an ear in certain instances. And just ringing a regular doorbell, they're not interested anymore. All right. Let's see. Beef. People aren't buying beef anymore. I know we really don't eat beef in my house. And a lot of homes have stopped buying beef. So beef has become extinct. Again, the millennials and the Gen Zs are going for more plant-based food, they say. So beef is really becoming an extinct thing. All right. Home phones. Well, we know that went bye-bye a long time ago. Yes. Who uses a home phone? Oh my gosh. All right. Designer clothes are going out of style. You know what? As much as we like to think, people aren't spending their money on all of these high-end fashion clothes. No, they're not doing it. You know what? A lot of Gen Zs and millennials have gone into thrift stores, thrift shopping. And think about it. They also have this thing on TV now. What do they call it? Like you buy it, you wear it, and then when you exchange clothes with other people online. So you kind of throw that item in the kitty, and then you shop and you kind of switch. Yeah. So that's what they're doing. Katie says beef is very expensive. It is. It really is. It really is. All right. What are we talking about here? Paying mortgage. People are not buying homes as much anymore. Listen, forget about people not buying homes anymore. People can't afford homes anymore. Forget about it. That is something that you can't even afford. Oh my goodness gracious. People are not trusting the stock markets the way they used to. Well, that's a good thing anyway. You're gambling with your money. All right. Bulk groceries. Certain things they say are not being purchased in bulk the way they used to anymore. As much as we see people in those lines, they're not as common as they used to be. Postcards. Yeah, who does that? Nobody buy no postcard these days. Regular milk, they say, on a major decline because everybody's buying plant-based milk. Everybody's allergic to regular milk now. Hotels are a last resort, they say. Yeah, pretty much. People have gone for the Airbnbs and, things like that. But, turnkey and Verbo and things like that. Yeah, people are really, really kind of using them as an alternative. Oh, we got to check it from Serge. Hey, Serge, what's going on, my brother? All right. Let's see. Large turkeys. People are preparing large turkeys. Not our kids. We are, but they're not. All right. So those are some of the things they say have become real extinct these days. So what are you going to do? After a while, things do become, kind of like played out and new things kind of come and step in. What do you want? That's just the evolving of, life. All right. Oh, I didn't say good morning to the ladies that keep us held down every day. Good morning to Shantice. Hey, Shantice. And good morning to Anika. Hey, Anika. Thank you so much for joining us. All righty. Well, not joining us. Y'all keep us held down. All right, let's see what the news is talking about. The one thing we ain't never got to worry about is news going extinct, right? All righty. Well, there's an update on that Louisiana, those Louisiana moms from last week where all their children are dead because the man that they shared and had children with killed them all. Yeah. So check this out. Now, Christina Snow, remember, he shot the girlfriend in the face and he shot the wife in the face. Yeah, that was confirmed because I thought I remember them saying that he shot both women in the face. So I don't know what his goal was. Instead of shooting them in the head, he shot them in the face, both of them. Well, Christina Snow is the one who was the girlfriend of Shamar Elkins, and she had 3 children with him. And her family is saying that she is suffering from a lodged bullet in her face. They have not taken the bullet out of face. She's suffering from memory loss and a sense of deep grief. So they're saying that they still have not gotten heads or tails as to what really happened with this guy. But what they are saying is that Christina Snow had 3 children with Shamar Elkins, 11-year-old Soraya, 6-year-old Kadarion, and 5-year-old Braylon. And they say at around 6 a.m., she called 911 and said that a boyfriend had shot her and taken their 3 children out of the home. Now, they say that her house was only a couple of blocks away from Shaniqua Pugh, which is the wife to this guy, Shamar Elkins. They were legally married at the time of the shooting, and they were due in court that next day. So this took place, I believe, on Sunday, and they were due in court on Monday regarding separation. Yes. So they say they don't really know whether the 2 women knew one another or really were aware. Let me tell you something. This must be the people on the other side of the fence writing this article, because let me tell you something about black women. They know about the other chick. Trust me when I tell you. This man had 3 kids with Christina Snow. Oh, you better believe Shaniqua Pugh, the wife, knew about this thing. And they're a couple of blocks away? Nah. They need to go do their homework, because I don't have to know the family to know that you only live a couple of blocks away and you don't know if they knew one another. You better believe that they knew about one another. And they also say that he was messy. I'm using those terms because they've got overlapping kids. So let me see. Christina's kids were 11, 6, and 5. Shaniqua's kids were 7, 6, 5, and 3. So 6 and 5 were twice. So while he was impregnating Christina, he was impregnating Shaniqua. While both times, because they got both of them have a 6-year-old, and they both have a 5-year-old. Now, Christina has a child that's older than the wife's child, because the wife's child, her oldest child, is 7. This was one messy punk. You hear me? Messy. Because that means that he was with Christina, left her, got with Shaniqua, married Shaniqua, then started cheating, if he wasn't already cheating. But the evidence of cheating starts because they both end up with the 6-year-olds. They both end up with the 5-year-olds. And then he ended up having the last baby. So she's 3. The last baby is 3. So check this out. Shaniqua, the wife, has Layla, 7, Kayla, 6, Shayla, 5, and Jayla, 3. Tamika, where you at? Child. Look at see, y'all can't see behind the scenes. Tamika is holding her head and shaking her head. Girl, I was doing the same thing last night when I read this article. I'm like, yo, really? We're gonna go over this again. Layla, Kayla. No. So let's do this. I'm gonna play this game. So first there was Soraya, right? Then Kadarion. No, I'm sorry. Let's do this. Soraya, then Layla, then Kadarion, then Kayla, then Braylon, and then Shayla, and then Jayla. Those were the 7 kids he had. Messy. Now, the 10-year-old was the wife's nephew, Marcaden, who he killed. Innocent, just as everybody else. But can you imagine? Lord have mercy. Yes, 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 yes. Kenny says, yes, you know about the other woman. Absolutely. Because let me tell you something. If it ain't on the radar, you going to put it on the radar. Nika says, yes, Messi. So they say that Shamar ended up shooting the kids in the head, most of the kids in the head, while most of them were sleeping. Well, you know that now because the girlfriend said that he snatched the kids. So they weren't sleeping during that time. Because if she called 911, he didn't go and put them to bed nowhere. So that means that they were awake. Lord have mercy. We have a check-in from Miss Herlima. Good morning, Miss Herlima. Thank you for joining us. Now, they say that Shaniqua also, again, suffered a gunshot wound to the face. She's still in the hospital. Now, they say there was a teenager, and I remember reading that last week. There was some teenager that was there, suffered some level of injuries, but the teenager suffered injuries after falling off the roof during the shooting. And they said there was somebody else on that roof as well. This was this was horrible. This was just some horrific business going on. You talking about people scattering, running to the point where you on a roof? Yeah. I remember something about a roof, but there wasn't a lot of talk about the roof, but they're talking about it in this particular article more. And they're saying that Christina is suffering from some level of memory loss. She's going in and out because at one point she's in grief over the fact that the kids are dead. And then other times she's saying, I got to get the kids ready for school. God, this is horrible. This is horrible. Oh, let's see what else we're talking about today. All righty. Talk again. Crazy. These people with a gun. So you got this Florida man who is now jailed on aggravated assault charges because he went outside of his home next door and pointed his gun, well, not initially, he was cussing at the kids who were playing outside. Someone was catching this on cell phone. So the kids went inside and told the father that this guy was outside yelling, I'm a racist, I'm a racist, I'm a racist. This is what he said to the kids. And they went outside, the mom and the dad went outside because, they also said that he was out there calling them the N-word and cussing at them and told the kids that he was going to, get sick the dog on them. And when they went outside, he then pulled a gun on the family. And the kids took off running. And, he said that the kids the ball was hit that they were playing with was hitting his gate and disturbing his dogs, making the dogs bark. He was sick and tired of them messing with his dogs. Now, clearly this is like connecting houses, and the only thing that's kind of separating in the backyard is the fence. And now you have this gun pulled out on it's nothing. Oh my God, this stuff is nothing. For this world has gone absolutely mad. I mean, mad. They have lost their minds. They've really lost their minds. We now move to out in Ohio, where there's an 18-year-old student. They're not sure where she got the gun from, but she goes to school, into the cafeteria, and she commits suicide. And right in the middle of the cafeteria in front of everybody. And they say, she was not trying to kill anyone else. She was not trying to hurt anyone else. That this was just something that she was experiencing. I keep saying that, we have this conference coming up, and all of these things are some of the awarenesses that we are bringing to light. We're walking for. We're praying about. It's the prayer and awareness walk, and one of the awarenesses is suicide. Another awareness is mental illness, which is what this Shamar Elkins could have been suffering with. He had to go through some mental illness, some mental breakdown. If he's doing all of this to people, his whole family, some break somewhere mentally, domestic violence. This was not the first time. I'm sure it's not the first time. Gun violence. So this is 4 awarenesses in just 3 stories: suicide, mental illness, gun violence, and domestic violence. Ketty says you can buy or get guns like it's a bag of chips. It's true. Everybody and their mama, they got a gun, and they don't know where this young lady got the gun from. Well, clearly she must have got it from home. She must have gotten it from home. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me see if I got at least one more story to talk about today. This iPad has a mind of its own. And let me see. Well, I don't want to talk about that one. Let's see if we can pull up this one here. That's boring. Where my girl Tamika at? Let's talk to Tamika.
Good morning. Monday morning. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. I am well, Tamika. How are you?
I am doing well.
Good. Well, I want to go back a little bit to our little trivia. And they talked about things that the millennials aren't paying for anymore and either have become extinct or are extinct. Or going into extinction. Is there something that you used to buy or you used to do, used to pay for that you no longer pay for?
I don't really go to the movies. I can't really tell you the last time that I've been to the movies, because it's so easy to stream. You get access to something, and you don't have to worry about somebody laughing. One of the things that used to annoy me, you watching the movie and you trying to get in, they laughing for 15 minutes. You going, what did they say? What did they?
Right.
I don't have to go through that, or you're sitting there comfortably. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Go.
Goodness.
You avoid all of that, and the benefit of streaming. Wait, I missed that part. You get the benefit of rewinding it back. I think that with the pandemic, when that transpired and they closed all the movie theaters, it awoke us all up, and it became harder for them to open, because it was like, oh well, you've been closed this long. What difference does it make?
Right. You get adjusted. You definitely get adjusted to not having these things any longer in your life. And they've closed all of the movie theaters, in the area. So you have to really travel. And like you said, if I just got to wait 5 extra minutes and it's on my TV, I don't have to go anywhere, then oh well. So, okay, all right. So you drop the movies and you're into the streaming. All right, girl, let's talk about, hold on now. Let's talk about Christina Snow. They say that she's the girlfriend of Shamar Elkins, and they say that they don't know. Let me go back. They say that they found that Christina lived only a couple of blocks, 2 streets away from his wife, Shaniqua. Christina and Shaniqua. Yeah. And they say they are not sure if they knew about one another. Tamika, please answer this question for the reporters. Did Christina and Shaniqua know about one another?
They absolutely did. There's absolutely no way you can tell me. There had to be something that he did, something that he said. You live two streets down. Really? You know, I'm a walker, and I remember that just recently, the other day, I had to go run an errand, and before I could get down the block, I know Al's car. I know his body, even if he had on a hat or whatever. Wait a minute. What was Al doing over there? You know good and well something ain't right. You told me you were coming home at 6:30. All of a sudden, I don't see. There had to be some days. You can't tell me that he didn't spend nights over at between the girlfriend and the wife. They knew. They were sharing. You know, they were sharing, and something happened to make him snap. He shot them both in the face.
Yep.
Both in the face.
Yep.
You know, yeah, no. They knew. You know, especially when I'm looking at these children, you know, you got a 6-year-old here and a 6-year-old there. Yeah, one of them got mad with you. You left that house and went to the other house, got her pregnant. Oh, she get on your nerves, so you go back to the wife. Oh, she gets on your nerves, you go back to the girlfriend. You've been doing it for years.
Yep. This was his thing. And wait, but check this out. Look at the ages. Mm-hmm. So Christine is the girlfriend, but she has the oldest child. She's got the 11-year-old. Then Shaniqua has a 7-year-old. And they're married. So he then left the girlfriend and went and married Shaniqua, had a kid with her, and then something that jumped off. He didn't walk them 2 blocks and had babies with the both of them who are 6, both of them who are 5, and then landed back with the wife and gave her the 3-year-old. Messy. You know, we're talking about Relationship Monday. Messy, girl, messy. You couldn't get no messier than this. Let's see what Pastor KL says, whether he feels they know about one another. Good morning, Pastor KL.
Good morning, ladies. How y'all doing?
All right, thanks. All right. We're about to stretch you right about now.
I'm stretched. And it's uncomfortable. I'm stretched. You know, when they say you can use anybody, Lord, you can use me. Don't use me, Lord. Don't use me.
Oh my gosh. So we're still talking about Shamar Elkins this week. And they have some update. And they say that both women were actually shot in the face. They're both still in the hospital. But Christina, the girlfriend, is the one who has the bullet lodged in her face. I don't know why they haven't opted to take it out as of yet. They haven't said. But they were saying that they live 2 streets from one another. And they are not sure if the 2 women knew about one another or not. Pastor KL, I'm going to ask you.
They know. I mean, they live that close, they know. They got kids, they know. They've had conversations. You know, they've spoken to each other. Mm-hmm. You know, they've argued with each other. You know what I mean? But no diggity, no doubt, they know.
I can't imagine them having. Hold on. Hold on, I got some update here. There's a possible motive. They said he called his mother. He called his mother mad and his stepfather and told them that he wanted to kill himself and was having dark thoughts because his wife was divorcing him. And he said everyone doesn't come back from their demons. And that's what the article, thank you for the update, Shantice. The article said that he shot the wife the day before they were due to go for their separation court appearance. Now, I'm your wife. I have a baby, 2 babies, the same age as your other 2 babies. I end up having another baby. It's been time for a separation. This is how you know it has to be some level of domestic abuse or domestic violence prior to this. Because he said you don't always come back from your demons. That means something going on. And now it did the keg has exploded. You gotta be sick in the head to be upset that you've been running within the 2 blocks of one another, of these 2 women, but somebody want to leave. Tamika, help me understand, because I'm trying to get this here. This is some mental illness at its finest.
You not too smart at all. You couldn't even go to another county.
Okay.
Another state, maybe even another country. People do it. Not that I'm saying that that's a good thing, but I'm saying 2 blocks. I get it. You got to keep your eye on your investment. But my thing is, you've been going back and forth, and then my thing is, between the 2, you ever heard these situations where I'm dating you, I'm married to you, and he was at my house last night, and like I said, these 2 are having conversations, and I'm going, but you either way, you're still being used. He's not 100%. Okay, fine. I got the wedding band, but he just spent the night with the girlfriend.
Yep.
The wife and the girlfriend, neither one of y'all. So he was with the girlfriend for a period of time. Obviously, she must have annoyed him to the degree that he got with this one 2 blocks away, married her, and then when she got on his nerves, he went back to the girl. Please.
Yep, that's exactly what happened to me.
With all the back and forth, he was being stretched, not in a good way, and the rubber band popped when he started shooting people. Great.
Yep. Pastor KL, she should have been left your butt.
They both should have been left.
Absolutely.
Right.
So apparently, he's in the pharmaceutical business, and he's bringing home a lot of money. And both of them can't take the chance of losing anything that's coming in. He's able to maintain both of them. But quiet as kept, they talk about the wife, but they both tired now. And now it's a Malcolm X and a Martin Luther King situation where they both coming together. And they saying, listen, this is it. Now the only reason they could talk about the wife is because it is the wife. And they had the wife procedures to go down to court. But both of them have come to the agreement that this is it. That's why I shot everybody. Because y'all both gonna leave me? Let's see how you feel.
Yep. And that's what I thought about. Because I'm like, he's not, listen, you've been running between the 2 of these women for the longest, right? At least 11 years. You've been running between the 2 of them. So, because the wife said she's going to divorce you, that ain't got nothing to do with the girlfriend. You always been going back and forth to the girlfriend. Just go back to the girlfriend. That's how I believe what you said, Pastor KL. That she tired too. And she done told you that she's tired. And probably what happened was you've been with the wife last. You were with her last because the girlfriend that told you she was tired a while ago because the last baby is with the wife. And now you know you can't go back to the girlfriend. And that's why you killed her, attempted to kill her.
But can you imagine? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, 11 years you've been hearing from the wife, I'm gonna leave the girlfriend. We breaking over. Yep. And then for the girlfriend to hear, well, I'm just waiting. Here goes this I'm just waiting for the opportunity to divorce this for 11 years.
Yep.
That's least. Over a decade. Yep. You're hearing the same foolishness over and over.
Over and over and over again. And that's why I say, you know what? I agree. Everybody was tired. Everybody is tired. You done heard everybody's tired. You know everybody's tired, and you have no other place to go. Now, you said that you can't get rid of your demons or your demons come back to haunt you. Oh, this is something that you've been hearing as a girlfriend and as a wife. You've been seeing as a girlfriend and a wife. I'm looking up something here, and when is it time for you to go? That's my question. When is it time to walk away from the relationship? And we were gonna talk about these relationship things anyway, but know when it's time. Know when it's time. One of the things, when there's no trust between you. And let's keep it to this particular scenario. Now, you can't trust him, because what is he going to do, Tamika, when we get into an argument?
Going over there to the other woman. But it's just common sense. You done seen this. This is cyclical for you, and if you're doing that, you're lying to me. You're stealing from me, because our finances are not our finances as a married couple, because that money got to go to the other family. You're not just taking, this is set for Cynthia and this one is for Shaniqua. No, it's community funds. So you lying to me, you stealing from me, you're taking time from me. There's so many things that we as a couple, whether you're wife or girlfriend, supposed to have. Well, I would honor the wife, not necessarily the girlfriend, because that's the way it's supposed to be. But you got stone scoop. You just throwing everything in there. You got succotash. That's what you're doing.
Absolutely. Pastor KL, they say it's time to leave when there is no trust. And clearly here, we missing some trust factor.
Well, first, let me say that I'm appalled and I'm offended that this is on our side. Because this is something that Sarah and Becky do. Sarah and Becky, they don't mind you living 2 blocks away. Usually when Shaniqua, and they find out they're killing somebody. They're not doing this for 11 years. I don't know which two he found, because there is no gangster or ratchet woman I know that would have dealt with this for 11 years.
Yeah.
We both have a child the same age. Yep. Oh no, she would have busted up. Yeah, listen, somebody would have been busted up in that baby shower. Oh no. Oh no. We both pregnant? Oh, explain this, Shema. Explain. Hey, what we doing, man? Man, what we doing? Explain this one. No, so I'm just not understanding that whole, black scenario. That's not something black people do. And if I have any brothers on there, listen, this is not a good look. Don't try it. Because today's women, oh baby, don't try it. Don't try it.
No.
You be the one shot in the face.
Yeah. It's true. This is an exceptional situation. That's why I was reading it all, because I'm like, I can't believe this is us doing this here. Because generally, I agree. Listen, when the shooting took place, when the article came out, it would have been woman against woman. Not saying that would have been right. But that's how we go down. We forget the middleman, the one who didn't cause all the problem. We fighting one another.
Exactly.
Somebody just showed up at the school. Y'all live 2 blocks away. They go to the same school.
Oh, that's a mess.
It's a messy. If y'all live 2 blocks away, you're both going to Pier 68. Come on now. Everybody
We all go to the parent teachers meeting together.
This is what I'm saying. I was sitting reading the article last night. I'm like, yo, who does this today? Who is doing this today? Terrence says Pastor KL was mad as well. He said, when I saw the picture, I agree. Yes, but I'm like, yo, who does this kind of stuff? You got women who got babies 2 blocks away from one another. Let me tell you something. If Shamar got any demons he's dealing with, Shamar ain't been able to hold down a job. So if Shamar got demons and can't hold down a job, his money ain't that long. If Shamar got demons, can't hold a job, his money ain't long. That means when it's time for them kids to get some sneakers, some mama mad because somebody can't get some sneakers. Somebody need a coat. The kid that lost the hat and the gloves, they can't find them. Somebody needs something, and you ain't got no money. And now she's saying, well, Layla, Kayla, Shayla, and Mayla, they got
tomato, potato. I don't know. Let's do the name game.
You name it.
Okay. Y'all know. Come on. She done random names like the back of her head. She probably know them names better than she know her own kids' names. She done told you that. Wait, let me get this right. Let me tell you. She done told you that Kayla, Shayla, Layla, and Jayla got sneakers, but Soraya, Kadarion, or Braylon don't. Ain't nowhere in the world you got 7 kids within 2 blocks of one another, and mama ain't mad because you didn't bring home some bacon. Somebody mad. And that's what I'm saying to myself. I said, no, there's no trust here. You broke that trust years ago when I was the one you were with. And when I looked over, you done went over there and made a baby. And now you married her. You didn't marry me who got the kid. You married her. And then proceeded to have kids. And I'm going to show God. Come on, y'all. How we play this game? I'm going to show you he's still over here. So I'm going to have my baby. I'm going to have my baby. You can have your baby, but I can have a baby by him too. The one who's walking around with demons. Oh, Jesus. Somebody help me. Somebody help me.
This is Leah and Rachel all over again. But y'all not even sisters. Well, what a mess. What a mess.
Now, catch the attitude of this woman that Pastor Steph just interpreted. They lay down with demons, and they talk about the transferring of spirits.
Right.
So now you acting crazy because the demon that you laid down with has now attached to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You know what?
That's right.
I said I wasn't going to preach today. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. You didn't allow yourself to heal from either one.
Right.
You just dipping your stuff back and forth. So it's a whole pot of mess. A whole pot. And you just keep putting more and more mess back and forth because you haven't allowed yourself to heal, and you or cleanse or whatever. You could have taken that time when you were with that first woman, you had that first baby, and you realized there was a problem. End it, do whatever it is that you're gonna go 2 blocks. The first thing you see in your own neighborhood. Now you got that type of issue. You got children. The children are playing with each other because they're in the same class.
Yes, I'm telling you. Yes.
And then you don't even know that person, that little child that you playing with is your sibling.
Yep.
Because y'all got the same daddy.
No, they know. They know too.
They know.
They know. They know.
Oh, God.
They know. They know.
Yeah, I know.
They know. Because they probably look alike.
Yeah, they do.
Probably look alike.
Yeah, they do.
And you know what? You are twins because both of y'all 5 and both of y'all are 6. And now, your daddy, my daddy. Oh, Lord.
I feel sorry for the teacher that got to sit there and pretend like she or he don't know. I'm stressed as a teacher. You say you.
Wait. Stop talking. Imagine the blue cards. The blue cards, they got mother name and the father name. And you looking at 2 kids who got different mamas with the same father name. And you're the same age.
Right.
Okay. Listen, they say you should leave when they do not value you. What are we talking about here? At what point do you realize, Tamika, that he didn't value you?
You didn't value me as the girlfriend when you decided to go down the block. You was already searching for new things. And then my thing is, you added salt to the wound by, after having, getting her pregnant, you came back to me for child number 2, and you keep doing it. And again, they got fed up, and that's what caused this situation. Because now you realize 11 years later that you weren't valued. That's a long time to realize
that there's no value
at all.
That there's no value. Pastor KL, at what point should she have realized that he didn't value her? Either Christina or Shaniqua.
When he stepped out. When he stepped out. So forget about getting somebody pregnant. Once you knew that he stepped out. Listen, 2 blocks down. I mean, you ain't talking about Brooklyn and Queens. You're talking about 2 blocks down. Yeah. You knew this before she got pregnant. You know what I mean? You knew either she was an ex or you thought she was an ex that still wanted him. I mean, all the signs were there. You get into an argument and all of a sudden, conveniently, he got someplace to go. He can stay somewhere. He don't have to come home. Conveniently, all the time. Yep. No. So anytime he did not want to come to a conclusion of this argument and he left, he didn't value you. He didn't value your feelings. He didn't value what you were going through. So at the point he showed you himself, you should have left him.
And I'm thinking about conversations or things. He's not with you because you're pregnant, because he's over there with the other one who's pregnant. So there were days when we're going to go to this Lamaze class. Nah, I got something else I got to do. You already know what he got to do. At the same time.
Lord have mercy. We laugh, but you really think about this thing. When it's time for me to leave when he doesn't value me. So let's talk about Christina, who had the child. 4 years later, he has a child with Shaniqua up the block. He marries Shaniqua. He then comes back to me. I take him back because I think it's over with him and Shaniqua. And I have a baby with him again. But when I look up, Shaniqua is having a baby too. How do I go past that point? What else do you need to say to me that you don't value me? when I had a child with you, you leave me, you go have another relationship and you get married. For me, we done. That's it. But now you come back and I allow you to come back and I give you a second child because I think you're with me. And then when I look up and look over, yes, 2 blocks down, she's having a baby at the same time I'm having a baby. So now both of y'all have 2 kids. And both of your second children are the same age as the other woman. At what point do I say he doesn't value me? At what point? Well, maybe I need to leave when I realize the relationship has become toxic. At what point, Tamika, do I realize that the relationship is toxic?
It was toxic already before the second child. It was toxic. There had to be signs, something, that was done. You already lying. You're looking at, okay, so as the girlfriend, because I came first, you've been looking at that girl 2 blocks down the block, two things down the block. There were signs. You don't go down that block. We don't even turn down that block. You rather go past that block. We in the car. You going past that block because oh, I don't want to go down that block. There are things that you're doing. You shucking, you driving. I'm asking you how your day, you coming in late. How do you have a whole wedding? A whole wedding, that takes time. That's because you're used to coming over here for a while. In the time frame where she had the first baby, okay, great. Now you get into the time where you're not coming home. It's toxic already. We are arguing. That's the whole purpose for you going someplace else. You had to find out something to lay your head. It was already toxic at that point. But now there's this other relationship and other children, and it gets worse. It can only get worse. It's a little small snowball that started at the top of the block. And now it's down here. And now you're talking about you can't rid of the demons. No, you created this mess. Now it's in your face, and this is how you solve it. But the thing about it is, you forget that after you die, there's still something else. You ain't done yet.
Lord have mercy. We got a comment. They had to know about each other, seeing each other at the supermarket, the laundry, the gas station, the kids' school. They had to see him coming out of the other's house at some point. What did they do? Wave at one another? How come neither woman thought to protect themselves against future pregnancies? And that's why I'm calling out these ages, because my thing is you just letting it off everywhere. That's why I said you done went from 11, you done went over there and you done made somebody, and they now 7. And now you done came back. That means that it's fine. That's why I said go back. That's why I said she didn't say, what's her name? Christina didn't say, oh, you might be married to him, but I still got him because he got kids with me too. That's what when we think of preventing pregnancy, these stupid girls are thinking revenge. They're thinking this how I'ma show who I am. That's the stupid mentality of these girls. Because that's exactly what happened. Because when you went back to the wife, you know what she said? She said, well, he might be sleeping with you, but he's still here because I got the ring. He's married to me. So my kids are more valuable than your kids because your kids the side kids. See, this is the mentality that they have been going through. That's why ain't nobody covered themselves, because everybody is trying to one up one another. That's the KL. They say you should leave when the relationship has become toxic. At what point did this relationship become toxic?
As soon as you said, here's my number. Give me a call sometime. Because listen, so understand. You know, the method of a man is he approaches things to get what he wants. Not so that you can be happy. In the beginning, his thought is not making you happy.
No,
His thought is getting what he wants.
Yes.
When it looks easy, why should I leave? Because with these two situations, I'll never be homeless.
Yeah.
I'll never be hungry.
That's right.
I'll never have to pay rent. I'll never have to pay for lights. I'm living free. So while everybody's trying to one up each other, the one that's winning is me.
That's right.
I'm the one up.
Yep.
So once you see that everybody else is losing except for him, it's time for you to go. You've already had an emotional abortion. You've done died to yourself. That now that she's around and she's around, you don't even feel this pain no more. You don't even feel this hurt anymore. You've already aborted yourself. You're just going through the message. Because now you have to push out that which is dead on the inside. Even when the baby dies, you still gotta push. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's good right there. That's good.
I gotta say, so, okay, fine. He had a relationship and he had a baby with the first girlfriend. So when he started dating the other girl, right, before they got married, when you're dating somebody, and I'm not expecting you to go to their home, but somewhere in there, you need to know where they live. You mean to tell me you dating this man and you don't know where he lives? You don't know anything about that? You don't know, that's one of the things that you do as you're trying to get to know each other, where you live. You might come to the house for a little while, sit, watch television, something. As the new girlfriend that eventually became the wife, none of that happened. So you had to have known even in the very beginning. You knew that he had somebody because you never saw his house. That's one of the first things that you do is you check out the house, go watch TV, let's go get pizza or something and come to the house. You knew as the girlfriend that became the wife. This wasn't nothing new to you. Now, as the girlfriend that started, oh boy, I'm tired of saying girlfriend. As the original girlfriend, you might not have known and you eventually found out, but as the second girlfriend that became the wife, you knew from the get-go that there was something going on.
Well, the reason why she didn't know where he lived is because as soon as she started talking to him, he moved in.
What a mess.
That's how you get in. You lay it down good according to you, and you move in. You ain't got no kids. You can do this. So now he moves in. You ain't thinking about where he come from, because he didn't came from your bed.
Way too
remember the video we saw with the woman who said that he had 6 kids and she had 1 for him? Remember that? And she was like, well, hey, what you gonna do? He was like, I got 6 kids and a dog. No, she didn't have any kids for him. He had the 6 kids and a dog, and he was living there.
Right.
And we were like, how did you let him move in with 6 kids? Because they don't think about none of this stuff. Whatever you lay down in the bed, that's where their head is. Now, it's funny because one of the things they say, you should, it's time to leave the relationship when they have cheated. So we've gotten past that. But they say when the communication between you two have broken down. What communication? Pastor KL, I'm starting with you.
There is no communication. And that's what I said earlier. When you run, when the argument begins to get too heated, because you think it's an argument, she thinks it's a discussion.
Right.
They're different. We define things differently, men and women. As soon as you get emotional, we think you're arguing. She just wants some answers. She just wants to discuss. She wants to talk. She wants to speak. She wants to verbalize how she feels, and she wants you to hear it. But you can't hear the argument. You know, a hit dog is gonna holler all the time, and a hit dog runs for cover. Hit dog, listen. If the hit dog knows that he's getting beat or he's about to get beat, he doesn't stand in confrontation. He gets gone, and when he thinks that the smoke is clear, then he comes back for the bone. Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I can't tell you can't pat yourself on the back all the time. Tamika, they say leave when the communication between you two has broken down. What communication here?
You didn't talk from the very beginning. Y'all went for what feels good, what looks good, you know, for those moments. You know, and not even protecting yourself from further babies. And then it became it was oh shoot, she's pregnant. All right, so let me go over here and see what I can find. Not fixing the mess that I created. I'm gonna go over here 2 blocks down. Oh shucks, she pregnant. Let me go over here. You know, so you're not talking. And then when things get stressful or complicated, you try to fix it and code it with sex because that's supposed to be the medicine to feel good, you know, and you haven't fixed the thing. You just go, you like want to remember that game, the little ball that used to go from one side to the other. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing.
Absolutely. All right. They say you should leave when he or she becomes selfish. Tamika, at what point did he become selfish?
When he started talking to the other girl, automatic from actually the way from the very beginning. When he started talking to, was Cynthia first or Shaniqua first? Oh my head.
No, okay, wait. It was Christina first. Get the names together, girl. Christina was first, and then Shaniqua came second.
Yeah, you were selfish when you started off. You know, you should have stayed. That's one of them ones that need to have stayed with mama and daddy. You know, and then after all the mess that you tried to the mess that you created, now you're trying to talk to mama and daddy and talk about you want to kill yourself. You were a mess from the very beginning. When you started talking to either one of them, you should have just made yourself. God help me, because I'm about to make a mess, a huge mess that only you can fix. And ooh, gosh.
At what point did he become selfish, Pastor KL, that she should have seen, either she should have seen that he was selfish?
When he kept bouncing back and forth. When he made you an option and not a priority. You became an option. That's you know, good. when he says, listen, what you won't do, somebody else will.
Yep.
He literally had his cake and he ate it too.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
That's what he did. He blew out candles in 2 different locations. Go ahead, say it, Pastor. Say it, Pastor.
That's good right there. That's good.
That's good right there.
Oh my gosh. All right. They say you should leave. It's time to leave when they take you for granted. Tamika.
If this ain't taken for granted. Everything, if taken for granted had a picture, Shamar Elkins. There's nothing that tells me that you everything about what you have done thus far tells me that you've taken for granted. You've taken Christina for granted. You've taken Shaniqua for granted. You've taken Kayla, Shayla, Jayla, Michaela, whatever, all the
mother. I want to talk about this one. They say it's time for you to leave when you feel your partner is emotionally immature. What was the sign that he was emotionally immature, Tamika?
The volleying back and forth. You know, I'm looking at you, you know, and I'm surprised that it didn't get worse than that. You know, to be honest, the way that we handle things, I'm surprised that one of them didn't show up at the other one's house. You know, cutting up a ruckus. So that like she's only you know the address. You know exactly where she lives.
You know where she lives. Yep.
You know when she's not home. You know the lights on. And don't tell me the kids got something to do with it, because we done seen so many issues where the children become the end result of all of that. But you have clearly shown it up all the time while you going back and forth and not even standing your ground on one side. You get tired of this one, you flip it over. You get tired of that one, you flip it over to the other side. Signs all over the place.
Pastor KL?
Listen, so if we be honest, because we're beating up the guy, but everybody is emotionally immature.
You're right.
Everybody.
Yep.
It's just not him. I keep on saying, my tagline is that you can't change what you allow. You keep allowing this, but you're looking for change. That's not gonna happen. If you keep on seasoning the chicken the same way, it's gonna taste the same way. It ain't gonna get no better. It ain't gonna get no better. So you can't change what you allow. And I can just envision, because now we know it's on our side of the fence, I can envision the arguments. And Shaquita is saying, hey, you know where I live, step up. Come up, you know where I live. So they've gotten to that point where they're that familiar with, you know where I live. If you got a problem, come on. I got him here right now. Come get him. Come get him.
Yep, that's what they say.
You're right.
So everybody's emotionally immature, and the people that have suffered were the children. Just think about before the children died.
Yeah.
What they had to see.
The chaos. Yeah.
Yes, what they to visualize.
Yeah.
My mama disrespecting your mama. Well, I mean, my daddy disrespecting your mama, but my daddy stayed with me. He stayed at my house tonight. Well, daddy coming home tomorrow. What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah. And I hate to say this, a part of my thought was, did God put them children out of their misery early? It sounds harsh, but my thought was, when I read that article last night, I said, I wonder if God just said, you know what? I'm just going to end this right now.
Pastor Steph, look what you just dropped into. Watch this. God put them out of their misery to get them out of their misery.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That was my thought. I'm like, this would have been what we don't even know what was going on. And as these children were getting older, the chaos would have just gotten worse. Because see, now they're going to become rivals. Now they're going to hate one another. Now there's going to be the Hatfields versus the McCoys. Were you raising your hand?
Yes, I gotta burn it. Here's the thing: we talking about him being immature. We're talking about the girlfriend and the wife being immature. The parents, his parents, because you knew that he was doing this. Ain't no way that you. So it's down the bloodline. Like generations of emotionally immature people. You raised an emotionally immature child who gave birth to all of these emotional, because you're gonna have even after that generations of emotional.
Yes.
Then when they children, because they think that that's fine. Yep. They're going to exhibit the same behavior.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the Hatfields versus the McCoys. Because they, that's my father. Yeah, well, you know what? That's why we have and y'all don't. That's why this and that's why that. Yes, they were breeding emotionally immature children.
Who will get in relationships and then still.
Yes. That's right. Perpetuate the same thing over and over again. Shartice said their kids would be like Ishmael's lineage against Isaac's. Absolutely. Yeah. Good analogy, Shartice. Okay, we got a comment. The demons were activated because, interestingly enough, he didn't kill either woman, but shot them in the face instead of the head. Yes, That's what I said earlier. How did he want them to suffer after the children were dead and buried, and the mothers had to live with that for the rest of their lives? Twisted, very sad. Absolutely. That's what I said earlier. You shot both women in the face.
In the face.
Only a half a millimeter above, you would have killed her.
Mm-hmm.
You shot both the women in the face to the degree where one woman has the bullet lodged in her face. He didn't intend to kill them. He killed the kids. He could have easily killed mamas. That was not, I agree 100%. That was not his intent.
Mm-hmm.
When I was telling the story at the first, that's why I said, hey, he shot both of them in the face. Nah. These are the demons. These are the demons with an intent. This is planned stuff here. This ain't, I'm just acting, there's no calculation. This is calculated. Check this out. Christina said when he shot, she called 911 and said, he shot me in the face and snatched the kids. His intent was to kill the kids and not the mama. That's why he took them over to the wife's house.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, he knew he didn't kill her. He knew that she would call 911, but he only had 2 blocks to go. So wasn't a whole bunch of traveling that he had to do. He knew by the time because they go in there first. They go into mama's house first. They go to Christina's house first. Because that's where the ambulance has got to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the police has got to show up. They're going there first. And then she'll tell them, well, you got a wife 2 blocks away. Then the chase to the wife's house. So by this time, he already knew he would have done his damage.
Mm-hmm.
He already knew he was done. This is all calculated, very calculated. This ain't no mistake. Not by far. Mm-hmm. Not by far. My Due Time crew, thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. We pray you have a blessed day.
You as well.
Wow.
Thank you. Always the top of the hour on a Monday morning. I can't wait to hear what Shantice has this morning. Let's say good morning to Shantice with the switch tip. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I'm okay, thank you. I'm okay. All riled up, but I'm all right, thank you. We look like a boy and a girl child.
I know, right? The blue and the pink.
You got the pink for the girl. What you got for us today?
Okay, today we have the switch with Shantice, where we make the switch from the streets to our godly seat, and we are up to switch tip 249 this week, and it is, I had to feed off of the relationship topic this morning. Don't enable the toxicity. And I kept tapping into God, like, all right, God, what's the switch tip for today? And nothing was coming to mind, but the more I was listening to the conversation with Pastor Steph and Pastor KL and Lady Tamika, I'm like, yeah, this toxicity thing is real on many levels. And of course, something that God has had to deal with me personally in regards to. But of course, we're going to dive into the definition of toxic before we go into the full switch tip. Poisonous, sinful, and destructive, resulting in spiritual, emotional, or physical harm. Scripture categorizes toxicity with the behaviors through selfish pride, through manipulation, through constant discord, and a lack of self-control. The Word of God counsels setting boundaries, walking away, and avoiding long-term harmful relationships. So even when we dive into that breakdown real quick, right? Poisonous, sinful, and destructive, resulting in spiritual, emotional, or physical harm. We know that any and everyone that is on the outside of God is hazardous to our health in all forms, on all levels. God's word categorizes this as selfish pride, which is one of the 7 deadly sins, the main sin that took Lucifer, the devil, down. Manipulation, constant discord, meaning tearing people apart, tearing situations apart, tearing relationships apart, tearing fellowship apart, which God despises. It's an abomination. That's a verse as well. And a lack of self-control, and self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. When you are baptized and you inherit the Holy Spirit, when God implants the Holy Spirit in you, you automatically gain the spirit of patience. I'm sorry, not patience, of self-control. We must set boundaries. We must learn to walk away. We must make sure that we are avoiding long-term, because despite what we think, this is not just some short-term stupidity that we're going to deal with. We're going to deal with these things a long time, if not forever, never. Amen. Especially when we do not repent and be honest with God and turn from our wicked ways, so that He will heal our land. Our land is not just where we are physically. Our mind is our land. Our heart is our land. Our soul is our land. The way we think, the way we desire, all of that is our land. So if we do not turn from our wicked ways and enabling the behaviors that are poisonous, that are sinful, that are destructive, that sow discord, that contribute to a lack of self-control, that's a sin. Okay, so when we contribute to those things, God will not heal the way we think. And we've been referring back to Romans 1, verses 18 through 33 a lot, which is God will turn you over to your own mind when you turn away from Him, when you ignore Him. So you either let Him heal your land, or He turns you over to your own mind. And the conversation, the story that they were just referring to is a clear descriptive of when you tell God, I'm good for you. You claim these demons, you claim these dark thoughts, and you meditate on it long enough for it to become actions. And now you've been turned over to your own mind. All three of them, okay? When you're enabling toxicity, you become one with it. So a lot of times, and people see they don't understand, is you might as well be doing the deeds yourself. Okay, if I'm helping you to be ignorant, if I'm helping you to do things that are sinful according to God, that are unlawful according to the man, I might as well be doing it myself. 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. Not for nothing, I kept listening, and again, Pastor Steph said this was a recap. I kept listening to the conversation, kept listening to the recap, thinking on the original, circumstances. And these are situations that a lot of us, if we have not been in them ourselves directly, we've witnessed up close and personal, most of us. And when you don't see the importance of separating yourself from people, and when desperation seeks in, because this had everything to do with desperation. All three of them were desperate. He wants everything, like Pastor K.O. said, he wants to have his cake and eat it too. And these women were clearly on a disgusting level of desperation that I would be willing to put up with you putting me on the back burner for anything, let alone to be reproducing other beings with another woman. Okay, so because I don't see the importance of distancing myself from you, wait, what did the breakdown say? Toxicity, setting boundaries and walking away, I am now becoming one with you more and more and more intensely. And now look at where the quality of my life is. Forget you. Look at how stupid I am now. Okay. Ephesians 5:11, read it in the Amplified Version. Do not participate in the worthless and unproductive deeds of darkness, but instead expose them by exemplifying personal integrity, moral courage, and godly character. I love this verse because ain't nobody smoother than God. He didn't say expose them by standing on the mountaintop and telling their business. I ain't got to tell you your business. Let me remind you of something. This is why people don't like going to church. This is why people don't like reading the word of God. This is why when you start talking about God, this is why when you start talking about how God is improving you, it makes other people uncomfortable because it puts a mirror up to them. So I don't have to yell and say, oh, so-and-so is doing this, so-and-so is doing that in order to expose you. All I got to do is tell you what I no longer do. So if one of these women was strong enough to say, you know what? Once upon a time, I was with this for whatever reason, because I've been there. I've been there. Thank God I ain't reproduced nothing, because Jesus. I'd have been the one they were looking for, okay? God made sure that Red Sea didn't part from them, okay? Yeah, so now, if one of these women would have been strong enough to say, once upon a time I was with this, I am with this no longer. I'm out. I'm good. Well, we see what happened when the wife wanted to divorce and shot her in the face. Has she done this quicker? Has she done this sooner? Has she done this maybe on baby number one? Let me show you how twisted people are, right? Because we don't know these people, but a lot of times because we know life, especially when you're not a dry Christian, you know life, you can pretty much kind of put the puzzle pieces together and assume what really could have happened. Let me tell you how twisted people are, right? Just because the girlfriend had the oldest child don't mean he was with the girlfriend first. I've witnessed these situations firsthand. I've dated men who have done this to other women, and I was stupid enough to think he was going to be different with me. Okay, just because the girlfriend has the oldest child, he could have been with the one he was married with first, but impregnated the girlfriend first. That's how twisted people are. And even with them, the wife, maybe even if she didn't find out immediately, she still could have stayed. And again, like Pastor Steph kept emphasizing, and I witnessed this too, it's this tit for tat thing because, oh, she gonna have her baby, but I'm gonna have her baby too. I know men who have told me this is why they have, on the streets, they call them project twins. When they have the kids who are the same age, but by different women. It's because it's this whole spite thing. And no one's thinking, who is the one who's really getting hurt? The babies. Because the babies didn't choose to be born to ignorant parents, okay? But when you don't learn to walk away from toxicity, you become the toxic one, okay? James 4:17, Amplified Version reads, so any person who knows what is right to do but does not do it, to him it is sin. And there is no way you're going to tell me the light didn't go off in nobody's head at any point. Because there's also a verse that says, there's no temptation known to man that God would not give you a way out. Out of all 7 of these kids, I'm sure there have been multiple outs God has given, not only the women, but the man. To say, you know what? I've already produced 2, 3, 6 children. Let me chill. Let me get a vasectomy. I really need a lobotomy. But let me get a vasectomy. Let me chill. And, you know, let me focus on, wrap my head around how we're all a family now. And now this all falls on me. So now I have the biggest burden. Well, I can't even say that because y'all just agree with this in your own way. But now we have to figure out how we're going to make this family dynamic work, because at the end of the day, it's about these children. No. So this is what happens when we contribute to the poison, contribute to the sin, contribute to the destruction, which then results in harm physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And unfortunately, these babies were harmed on all levels, in every way. So we have to make sure we're making a conscious decision of making a switch from enabling the toxicity to making sure that we are staying steadfast and hard in God's word, so that we learn how to set boundaries, we learn how to walk away, and we learn how to avoid long-term and harmful situations. Thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Shantice. Don't enable the toxicity. Thank you so much for your contribution and a very practical switch tip. We pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. So before she even came up with this, don't enable the toxicity, I had already chosen what I wanted to close on. And I looked down at this article, and it asks, when should I walk away from a toxic relationship? Because our conversation, our relationship topic today was know when it's time to leave. And they gave us several points on when it was time to leave. When should I walk away from a toxic relationship? Staying in a toxic relationship can take a toll on your physical, mental, and emotional health, they say. You may love them deeply, but when a relationship hits rock bottom, feelings of dislike, jealousy, and hate may creep in. Also, when you see no future with them and continue to suffer day in and day out, it is time to take a stand for yourself and part ways with a toxic partner. When should I walk away from a toxic relationship? The moment I realize that it's toxic. we've all been caught up in relationships where, we're in some level of la la land for whatever the reason is. And one day we wake up. And unfortunately, we don't leave when we realize the relationship is toxic. And here's one of the things that I've learned from watching other people and listening. A lot of times we're part of the toxicity, like the due time who has said, including Shantice. You as the women, you two women, Christina and Shaniqua, are also very toxic. Because you have seen the mental breakdown with Shamar. And instead of you simplifying life for him, because having another baby with Shamar only complicated your relationship with him. Only another reason for you to stay with him. Because a lot of times people feel like, we got to stay for the kids. These kids realize you in a toxic relationship. These kids realize, what did they say? That you dislike, you're jealous, and you hate one another. These kids are not as oblivious as you think they are. Kids sense things. And I have seen grown kids upset that parents have divorced when they have seen the toxicity. You know why? Because that's what you've taught them. When you opt to stay in a toxic relationship and there are children involved, you teach them to be toxic. When should you leave? When a toxic relationship is the moment you realize that the relationship is toxic. Don't stay. Because toxicity never gets better. Never. They say that it affects it takes a toll on your physical, mental, and emotional health. Did we not see all of this in all three of them? Did we not see the mental breakdown? Did we not see the emotional breakdown? Did we not see the physical breakdown? Because despite the fact that you might be basing up to well, I'm the wife, and would you go ahead and have, he got kids with you, but I got the ring, so he with me, and you over there talking about, well, you know what? He might be married to you, but he's still with me. That's still a mental breakdown. No matter how much you basing up, no matter how much you bragging, no matter how much you trying to see yourself on the top, that is a mental and emotional breakdown that you're experiencing. And let me tell you something. You're not going to tell me that if he told the parents that there's demons running around in his head, and that you can't always get away from your demons, or the demons don't always leave, or the demons don't always come back. This stuff was displayed in those two homes. In Christina's home with the 3, and in Shaniqua's home with the 4. This demonic behavior was displayed a long time before the murder took place. They both have 3 or more children. So if Shantice reversed the process where he was really with Shaniqua first, and then went and had the child with Christina, and then ended up with Shaniqua, the wife, regardless of which way this thing went, after child number 1, the demons were exposed, and probably were exposed before the children showed up. Probably showed up early. We laughing, we joking, we're not, thinking about anything, and we're again, it's the bed game, and this where your head is, and this where your emotions are, and this where your body is, and the whole 9 yards. This is how it's going down. So when it's toxic, you always feel like you can do something to work around the toxicity. Well, guess what? He just showed it ain't nobody work around the toxicity. He didn't anticipate dying because he was killed by the cops carjacking somebody. So, we don't know whether he would have killed himself or not. Chances are he would have, but we don't know that because he could have killed himself once he killed the kids. He had already shot Christina, the girlfriend, snatched up the 3 children, took them over to Shaniqua, the wife's house, shot her in the face, and killed the kids right then and there. He didn't have to run. He could have shot himself right there, because that's what they normally do. They don't find them off somewhere else. Most times they are right there on the scene. They call it murder-suicide. They murder somebody and then they kill themselves. Most times they do not leave the scene. There are times when they do, but most times they don't leave the scene. They just go ahead and end it right there. Now, he told his parents, his mother, stepfather, that, I'm thinking about killing myself. Then why didn't you just go ahead and kill yourself? Because again, like the comment is what I said in the beginning. Nah, he wanted somebody, he wanted them to feel this thing. Even if he didn't kill himself, they would have still felt them children being dead. And you think you're going to be separated from me? Oh, okay, let me show you. You think you didn't told me to get away? Let me show you. Leave the moment you realize that the relationship has become toxic, because at no point will this get better with y'all together. I have seen relationships of married people. They ended up being in a toxic relationship. They separated. Everybody went and got help, and they came back and they had a beautiful relationship. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. But this ain't never happened with people staying together. Nope. You're not gonna get no help and you looking in my face, because I'm gonna be your first person, you're gonna strike out at. No, please, when you see the relationship has become toxic, and there are so many signs that the relationship is toxic, you see those flags. It is nothing that says we don't see the flags. We see the flags. We ignore the flags, or we try to work around the flags. We feel that, our strength, our wisdom, our determination, our commitment, our dedication is going to change things. It will not. It will not. It's toxic. You are no doctor. You do not have the antidote. You do not have the cure. Only God. You need to separate. You need to pray. You need to go get help. And let them go get help as well. And make them understand that this cannot be my life. You're talking to a person who's learned. I had to eventually stand up for myself way too long after the time that I should have. But I thank God, because it taught me I can spot toxicity instantaneously. It's almost like once I went through that, God put a radar in me. I'm not only talking about intimate relationships. I'm talking about on your job. I'm talking about in friendships. I'm talking about in families. I'm talking period. Toxicity is toxicity. And people also endure family because they just always family and we can't separate. And, I owe it to, my mother, because I told my mother I would take care. Heck no. No, mama dead. I'm sorry. That was your problem. You had that problem. I've known people to say when their parent died, oh, please make sure you take care of so-and-so. And so-and-so ain't doing nothing for themselves. But you left me with this burden of making this promise that I would take care of so-and-so. You gave birth to so-and-so. You the one that babied so-and-so, and so-and-so ain't about nothing when God took you from here. But now I'm going to spend the rest of my life. I'm sorry. So-and-so going to have to learn how to make it. I'm not going to see you hungry, but when mom goes, dad goes, I'm going to let you know, listen, you got me for the first such and such amount of time. After that, you're on your own. I didn't give birth to you. I'm not going to see you go down. You know, if you're struggling, if you're trying, that's a whole different story. But can I tell you something? 9 out of 10 times, those people who made you promise to take care of that person ain't doing nothing. And that's why they're asking you to make sure you take care of them. I've personally had someone say to me, Steph, please promise you look out for so-and-so. And I had to be honest. I was like, well, if you didn't do it in 40 years, what am I going to do in 5 minutes? I can't do more than what you did. And no, listen, I was trying. I got anybody who's trying. But if so-and-so was living the way they were living and acting with you, I can't make no promise. I got my own kids. I have my own children. I have my own granddaughter. I'm not committing to that. Toxicity is toxicity. It doesn't only exist in intimacy, in intimate relationships, but it shines its brightest in intimate relationships. Be careful that you do not stay in any relationship, because again, it says it takes a toll on your physical, mental, and emotional health. This is no joke. Ain't enough Jesus to keep you from breaking down in the hands of a toxic person. It's not. It will still take its toll. Now, will you break down as much as a person who does not know? No, you're not going to break down as much, but there's going to be some breakdown. Your heart going to be palpitating. You're going to have headaches. You're going to be all kinds of things. Your blood pressure going to be high. All kinds of things are going to happen to you. And guess what? Here's what I tell people. You're not going to kill me and then you tap dancing around my grave. No. You're not going to kill me and then I'm dead. And you still going to be walking around here being toxic to other people. And you're going to be, just the kill spree is going on. No. Know when to walk away. And you know what Shantice brought up, and it may not seem associated, but when she brought up the verse that says there is no temptation that is given to man, but that God would not, that is uncommon to man, that is uncommon to man, but that God would give a way out. This is the same situation. You might be tempted to stay in that situation. And this ain't uncommon. Somebody else done been through this before you. Somebody is going through this with you at the same time, and somebody gonna be going through this after you. This ain't authentic to you. But I trust me when I tell you, God says, I will give you a way out. I keep saying to people, there's this huge debate in the church where men have told women to stay in a toxic relationship because you're not supposed to divorce. And I contend that God did not make me fearfully and wonderfully made so you could kill me physically, mentally, or emotionally, because you cannot serve God. See, that's why you're here. You're here to give God glory out of your life. There is no way you're giving God glory out of your life if you're over in a corner crying all the time, if you're all mentally unstable, if you laid up in the hospital, or if you're going to be in jail for defending yourself. God gets no glory out of that. So I challenge anybody to say, I need to stay in a toxic relationship and God gets no glory out of my life because I'm giving it all to you. You better read your Bible and stop listening to man. Give your life to God and he will help you. See, the Spirit of the Lord will help you sense toxicity. That's why I told you, I can sense toxicity anywhere. And the slightest level of toxicity. Listen, you need to just do something about that. Whether it's leave or shift gear or whatever you need to do. But if this is going on, you need to separate from it. Separate from it and leave that person to God. Whether that person is going to be with God and get some therapy and some counseling and you step away and you get your own peace of mind so that you can, especially when you have children. And this is what's so horrible about this particular situation, because these women were going through a mental and emotional breakdown. They allowed themselves to go through this. Don't misunderstand me. But now, how are you living for your children? What kind of home are you providing for your children when this man is running back and forth? Because I'm going to tell you something. There was a whole lot of basing up going on. A whole lot of basing up going on. Because, see, he knew he could do this kind of thing. So he didn't came, he didn't sat, he didn't said, he didn't acted, he didn't did all of this kind of stuff. And all the kids running around watching all of this stuff here. You, mom, you have helped, Tamika hit the nail right on that. You have helped to perpetuate this breakdown in your children. Now they get older and now they give their children the same thing, because you have not prepared them to give their children anything else. You have not prepared them to be strong men and women. That's our job. Our job. Do your job as a parent. It's more than just feeding and clothing them, sending them off to school. You have to really take care for your children. And when you're in a toxic relationship, your care for your children, it's limited, because you twisted. You twisted where any little thing make you cry, any little thing make you jump. You yelling at the kids. Why? Because you all twisted. You ain't got no patience. You ain't got no time. You can't do nothing because you need to lay down because you all stressed out and got a headache. Yo, this is big. This is big. So please, again, another reason to give our lives to God, so that we can be able to determine when toxicity is looking us in our face, and when and how we get that strength and that courage, because that's what it takes to move on. It takes strength and courage to move on. So come on, only God can give you that strength and courage to do what you need to do. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tonight, God spares right here, Facebook Live, Coach for Christian Life, or YouTube Live, a Close to Walk Christian Media Network. There will be a segment of There's More to Be Said. Now, if we're going to continue this, I don't know. I don't know what God is going to be talking about tonight, but come on and hang out with me so you can get every little drip that God has for you. Until then, God spares. I love